breaking in pointe shoes. Let's talk. Hey guys, welcome back to Broche Ballet. I'm so excited to have you back here on the channel today to talk about breaking in your first pair of pointe shoes. Before we get started, if you have been dreaming of performing a variation, maybe on pointe, maybe on flat, maybe a pas de deux, come join us on stage here in Miami, summer 2022 for the first International Adult Ballet Festival, a 4-day ballet intensive and performance for dancers of all levels and walks of life to come together and put on a show showcasing our talents and how fabulous it is to be an adult ballet dancer. Put a link in the description box below to come check out the festival, and I hope to see you here in Miami in 2022. When you are brand new to pointe and you're looking at all these videos online of people hitting their pointe shoes with a hammer, slamming them indoors, using gliders and matches, cutting the bottom, ripping the shank, and these all seem like very destructive rituals. What should you do when you're getting started on pointe? First, let's get into why we break in our shoes in the first place. So let's say that a pair of pointe shoes has 20 hours worth of lifespan. The first 5 hours of lifespan are super uncomfortable. The shoe is hard, it's new, it's really rigid, and it's not that comfortable. The second maybe 5-ish hours, the shoe begins to get more comfortable, it becomes wearable. Around hours 10 to 15, it's in its sweet spot. It's fabulous, it's so comfortable, it's molded to your foot. And then at the very end, it's on its way out, it's dying, it's getting softer, it's getting more and more difficult to use. So within that 20 hours lifespan of your pointe shoes, and some brands last a little less and some brands last a little more, but they all generally have this sort of lifespan to them. When you are a professional dancer on stage, which is when we see a lot of these videos of how to break in your shoes, you want to perform in shoes that are in that sweet spot. You want to perform in shoes that your feet can move and manipulate, that are comfortable, that are going to show off your beautiful arches and your feet. And so you need to pre-wear the shoes for those 10 hours worth of time to make the shoes in their sweet spot for your show. So by the time you get to be a professional dancer, you have worn your pointe shoes a lot and you know exactly what that 10 to 15 hours sweet spot mark looks like on your shoes. You know how the shank should bend, you know what the box should feel like, you know how you want the shoes to break and mold. And so when you know that about your feet and with your brand of pointe shoes and your style of pointe shoes, you can basically pre-wear them in to that point in time where they're going to be perfect for you on stage for whatever role it is you're dancing. Some roles you want softer shoes, some roles partnering you may want a harder shoe to give you more support. And so a dancer, a very seasoned dancer, will know how they want to break the shoe in for whatever they're going to be doing on stage. So in the beginning of your pointe journey, you want to do less breaking in and allow your feet to break the shoes in so that you can discover what breaking in looks like for you. All of the things that you see people doing to break in their shoes are to solve a specific problem or to get the shoe to a specific level of wear. And in the beginning, you don't know what problems you're going to have yet because you haven't had them yet, and you don't know what a specific level of wear is going to look like for your feet. Some dancers will break the box of the shoe. Maybe they'll break the wings of the shoe, or the platform of the shoe, or the box itself will become soft. Other dancers will break the shank of the shoe, and the shank will become very bendable and very malleable. But you'll start to get to know on you and your shoes where the shoe starts to die first, or become less supportive is what we sort of mean by die, when a shoe dies. I would recommend starting with a couple of basic things to make the shoes more comfortable when you wear them in class. To remind you, the whole point of breaking them in is to reduce the lifespan of the shoe and sort of pre-wear them. So any action you take to break in your shoe reduces how long they're going to last you. So I'm going to give you just a couple of basic tips to help you get the shoe past that extremely uncomfortable phase and into a little bit more comfortable spot for you to dance in during class. If you're wearing your shoes and you find that they are digging into your toes or your arch right here, you can take your fingers right here on the top of the box and you can wiggle back and forth with your fingers in this area to soften this part of the very top of the box and make it more comfortable for you to stand on demi pointe. If you feel like there is just no room for your foot in the tip of the shoe, you can. Some dancers do this with your foot. You'll see people stepping on the box, but I recommend in the beginning for you, while you learn how much to do, you can take your hands and you can squish the box a little bit. You'll hear it break. If it's a paper mache shoe, you'll hear it break, and you're gonna squish to make the box from a round shape to more of an oval shape to make more room for your foot to slide down into the box. Now be very careful with this technique, because if you do it too much, it can completely ruin the shoes and make it so that you fall down into the shoe. So always start with less, try it on, see if it helped, and then try more, little by little. If you feel like the shank of the shoe is extremely hard and it barely curves at all, I'll show you how to break that in. First, you're gonna put the shoe on. You're gonna peel the fabric of the shoe back so that you're exposing the shank on your foot. You wanna take your finger into your arch and find the tip of the curve of the arch. That's gonna show you where you wanna have a little bit of a break in your shank. So for me, it's right about here. I'm gonna put my fingers there so that I can mark it, and then I'll take the shoe off. So now I have where I want to bend my shank. What I'm gonna do now is take my other hand right here. Be really careful not to grab the box, because as I mentioned in the last segment, breaking in the box is another thing we can do. So be really careful not to grab onto the box while you do this. You're gonna take those thumbs and the fingers right around where you want to break in, and you're going to make small bending motions. You can use the heel of this hand for a little bit of leverage. So you've got one middle finger where you want it to bend and the heel of the hand, and you're gonna pull. Now really think about doing the breaking with this hand, not with this hand, because that's gonna break in the box of the shoe. So we're using this to hold where we wanna break, and this hand is doing the majority of the breaking. Get a small curve, and again, start with less, and if you need more, you can go more. Don't start ripping the shank, don't start cutting it yet. Just try a little bit, put it back on your foot, see if it helped, and then try a little bit more. And last, a really great way to break in your shoes is to walk around your house on demi points. So put on your shoes, walk around on those tiptoes, and really get that box nice and broken in for beautiful articulation in class. If you have any more problems with your shoes, you can always go back to the fitter who fit you, whether it was an online fitting or an in-person fitting. Go back to your fitter, show them what's going on, and they can usually make modifications to the shoes or with padding to help you solve whatever problem it is that you're having. So try a troubleshooting fitting first before giving up and getting new shoes. They can almost always help you figure out what is going on and help you fix it and make the shoes at least wearable for the remainder of their life. While you're in pointe class, I really encourage you to stay curious and ask questions like, should it feel like that? What if I tried this? What about that area? And start to troubleshoot your pointe shoes and ask questions that will lead you down the road of seeking out different answers of how to break in your shoes. If you feel extra pain around your big toe bunion, your pinky toe bunion, the tips of your toes, the arches, the ankles, wherever you feel the aches and pains, those are the areas that you're gonna solve and troubleshoot with breaking in, with different padding, with different sorts of things. You always wanna approach breaking in your shoes from a problem first, solution second approach, not just solution, we saw this online, we're gonna bang up our shoes and take the life out of them. When you have a problem, you can solve it by modifying or breaking in your shoes. I hope this was a helpful, quick little overview of a couple of ways to gently break in your shoes to make them a little bit more wearable for class. Let me know in the comments below if you have more questions about breaking in your pointe shoes, and I'll see you guys in the next video.